Welcome to Sideline, the Baseline with your hosts, MB and Klew.
Klew.
Hey, y'all seen Pac Jam, the realest co-host in the atmosphere, the stratosphere, the country, the world, all that is in the building, man. And we couldn't wait to come holler at y'all because
on the treadmill.
Yeah, we jumped out there early. And there's a lot to talk about, especially the conversation Pac Jam and MP had before we kind of got off on Friday. And that game was played, so there's going to be a whole lot more to discuss. And of course, y'all remember it was that Miami UNC game, but we're going to talk about that a whole lot a little bit later. MB, what you got for us?
Oh, man, you know what we got? We got he's a problem.
He's a problem, y'all.
NFL, man. And I'm going to start off from a man, Kansas City Chief tight end, Travis Kelce. 8 catches, 136 yards for 1 touch against the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins, they was trying to do something now.
Right.
But he's a problem. Hey, that offense was loaded, and Travis Kelce was getting it done, man, moving those chains. And just like Pac Jam Wi-Fi, come on, Pat, get your Wi-Fi right, man. Here's a problem. Pay your bill, baby. Let's go. And Travis Kelce, Kansas City Chief, they paid their bill. They're a problem.
That's what get them in early and often. It'll be. I got a problem around here, man. And I think both of my problems, man. Shucks. Aaron Rodgers, man, quarterback, of course. Green Bay Packers, 26 of 33, 290 yards, 3 touches. Listen, Aaron Rodgers on one of these, again, another one of these special years. He has a Devontae Adams, not Smith. Okay, I got it right this time. But Devontae Adams out there that's getting him the business. And then you got Aaron, man, just dropping dimes to everybody. It just, obviously he has a number 1 out there. Not necessarily a number 2, not necessarily a number 3, but we seen Aaron do it. Well, he didn't really have number 1. We go all the way back to Driver, MB. I can't think of Donald Driver. And there weren't true number 1s on that roster either. And he was getting them the business. I just love what he's doing. He's definitely having an MVP type of year. Aaron Rodgers, he's a problem.
Also, he's a problem for my Giants, our Giants, man.
It is.
Man, I thought they was going to do it again, work the magic again against an NFC West opponent, but they came up way short this week, man. And one of the reasons why was my man Hassan Reddick out of Temple, first-round draft pick, coming back home to the East Coast. He's a problem. My man had 5 tackles, 5 sacks. That is, it's a linebacker. He's not a defensive end. 5 sacks, man, getting it done, and 3 forced fumble, man. He's a problem, man. He was a problem for, man, Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. Man, they gave up 8 sacks the whole game, and he had 5 of them, man. 5, like, bro, man, Phil Flow, getting it done. Rated, man. He's a problem. Contract year, go get paid, baby.
Now, old bro, man, from the 5th floor, do you hold up 6 fingers?
Yeah, 6 fingers.
You know what I mean? Like, he from the 5th floor. Floor, like, okay, I've been fake. Listen, we had another problem. This guy been a problem, seemed like just about every other week. Nah, he's a problem every week. We just need to make room for somebody else, MB. So we get to him every other week. Patrick Mahomes, again, 24-34, 393 yards, 2 touches. Guess who we were throwing it to? The other problem, Mr. Kelce, man. Hey, and y'all already know, man, the fastest man in the business, Tyreek Hill.
Cheetah.
He was throwing that thing to him too, but they don't even count. They just figure out any kind of way to get him the ball. That dude just flies, MB. He got to be from the crib. But Patrick Mahomes, he's a problem.
He definitely a problem, man. We got to finish up in the NFL, man. showing some love to the Buffalo Bills with man Diggs, the receiver, right?
Yeah.
They beat the Steelers with Pat Jam call. I got to give him credit when he called it. He said, circle this game. All right, Washington, the football team sized them up. And then now the Buffalo Bills finish them off this week. And Diggs, man, was getting it done. Had 10 reception, 130 yards with 1 touch. Man, consistently moving those chains, man, against that top Steeler defense, man, making it happen. He's a problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, look, this guy here, man, our last problem, I think, for the show, Pac Jam got on the T-shirt. Man, Derrick Henry, man, Tennessee Titans, baby. 26 carries, 215 yards, 2 touches, 8 yards. Every time he touched the rock, MB. Now, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. I told Pac Jam I didn't believe that Derrick Henry would be able to sustain a career like this because he was a big old target, MB, and he didn't do a good enough job to me of lowering his pad level, so he took shots. MB, this dude started to prove me wrong, man, and I think, man, he might start. He finishes up the year this year, begins the year next year. We may have a guy running into the record books, MB. Yeah, and I never would have thought, because I thought he'd be too beat up. Thought it'd be like an Eddie George type MB, where he definitely has the ability to do it, but just them, you know how it is. Those shots add up, MB. But Derrick Henry, he's a problem.
He's a problem. Tennessee, man. You mentioned Eddie George. They know how to run him, baby. Hey, they keep the tradition. They keep the tradition. Hey, keep talking about tradition, man. Let's transition to college football.
Wow.
Hey, LSU, man, playing a lot of freshmen. They had a debate about defensive back U. Is it Florida?
Yeah.
Is it LSU?
Yeah.
LSU, my man, freshman. Eli Ricks, corner, 3 tackles, 1 PBU, but more importantly, man, had a pick 6 for take it to the house. Got number 1 on his jersey for number 1 for a reason, baby.
Yes, sir.
He's a problem. And not just that, man. The freshman, right? Matt Johnson, quarterback, 21 for 36. All right, 239 yards, 3 touches, right? And still moving the chain a little bit with his feet. Don't get it twisted. He clowning when he run, but he's moving the chains. Those 2 guys, man, hey, there was a problem for a hometown team. Well, state of Florida team, the Gators, baby. Hey,
wow.
Those 2 guys, hey, LSU team, they're a problem. He's a problem. They're a problem getting it done, baby.
Hey, I tell you what, it was 2 other problems. I think I'm going to take them one by one so that I can have another one to talk about. But Mr. Michael Carter, running back, North Carolina, 236 yards, 2 touches every time he got the rock. He was a problem. And he had another homeboy in the backfield, but I'm going to pass that to FB when I come back.
No, you got it. Go ahead. You own it because they was tag teaming us this weekend, so keep going.
Listen, so Michael Carter is the starter, y'all, just in case you didn't know. And MB and I have been talking about these running backs since the preseason. So they didn't sneak up on us. They both rushed for over 1,000 yards last year, so this is no surprise. But this is the part that trip you out. MB's a backer. I'm a backer. We've been through all the levels. Listen, when you play the starter, you had him pegged. When the backup come in, it's almost like you get a little break. He's a little bit easier to tackle. He might be just a third down type of guy that you just got to worry about him trying to break you down out in the open field. He might be a screen guy, but you generally don't really factor him into the ballgame. Well, when they go to their number 2, you get a guy by the name of Javonte Williams. He was a problem. 308 yards, 3 touches. Yeah, I said 308. That's more than the starter. So when they starter went out the game, you got nervous. You got even more afraid. Because this joker, all he did was run touchdowns on Saturday. Michael Carter, Javonte Williams, they're a problem.
No doubt. And we're going to stay right there, man. Hey, because just like Klew say, hey, we weren't surprised about how good these dudes was. On the show I did on Saturday, I gave them a nickname called Mashed Potatoes and Gravy.
Man.
And Williams, right? It was a pregame show. I called him mashed potatoes because when you try to tackle him, he trying to smash your head into the ground. All right, he leads college football with 63. All right, heading into the Miami game it was 63. I'm sure after the Miami game he probably add 10 more digits to it as far as broken tackles, right? And then my man Gravy, Michael Carter, getting it done, right? But one thing that we noticed, man, in the games that they lost at least 2 of the 3, they didn't run the ball over 100 yards. So I was hoping that the offensive coordinator had amnesia or something and forgot about that stat.
Run game.
Real logo? Nah. Here's a problem. 784 total yards on offense, average 10.5 per play. Sam Howard, he looked like the Philly special. He only had 223 yards, but D Brown had over 100-something yards, and then Sam got a touchdown pass as well, right? 6-11 for third down. All right. One thing, they didn't have one drive that ended in a punt. Not one.
Right, it'll be.
Not one that ended in the punt. Hey, North Carolina offense, he's a problem. Hey, and then let's transition. Miami defense, they clowning. And they were clowning out there. They were clowning out there, bro. And so I said it from the beginning. This game here, right, was a snapshot of all the stuff I've been saying all year about run fits, brain fart, self-inflicted wound. All that stuff showed up, and North Carolina took advantage of it, and there was a problem, and we was out there clowning. Hey, they took care. Hey, North Carolina took care of business because everybody know what was at stake. It was a New Year's Six bowl game, and I said on this show as well. I said, hey, if Clemson was the midterm, all right, North Carolina was the final exam.
Right.
And we got a big fat F on both of them. And I said that before Georgia Tech game was canceled because we was talking about, man, why they ain't talking noise? I said, no, they need to wait after this game before they talk noise.
Right.
All right? Because we know what the challenge North Carolina faced.
Right.
And North Carolina they came ready to play, man. Matt Brown got it done. Hey, he got it done. He got those boys ready to play. Hey, everybody knew what was at stake. Hey, they got it done. North Carolina, hey, y'all a problem.
Right now.
Well, I first would like to start off by saying I want to apologize to the College Bowl Playoff Committee. I would like to send my biggest apology to them because just last week I stormed in their office and I said, it doesn't make any sense y'all disrespecting the one-loss Miami like this. You got teams with 2 losses above the Canes. And I just showed my natural color in there last week. Right. And I was wrong. And they told me, they say, Pac Jam, calm down because we believe in you're wrong. And I just showed that. And once again, I stuck my foot in my mouth on that particular situation because if I have to quote the late Denny Green, they are who we thought they were. According to the committee. Miami is pretty garbage, man. Manny Diaz need to be a part of D-Day. That was a part yesterday when Auburn did their thing, when they cut Gus Malzahn yesterday.
No way.
You understand me? When they say you got this step, you know what I mean? Manny Diaz should have been a part of D-Day, man. He should have been a part of D-Day yesterday. When Illinois told Lovie Smith, it's been real, but you got to go, Manny Diaz should have been a part of that same thing because MB said something very, very profound in his statement just now. He said, this is something that I have been since week 1 about this defense. Week 1, I've been saying the same thing. So if it went from week 1 to the end of the season, that tells me that there was no adjustments. That tells me that you can't get it done. So I had to find somebody else to get it done. Because going into the season, I heard all the hype about this supposed to be the baddest defensive line in the country. Transfers from here, there, everywhere. How they was looking for an explosive defense this year.
Draft picks.
That's what I heard.
No, he ain't here. That's legit. 2 draft picks.
Again, if you can't scheme a way for that to be If you can't scheme away for that to be for my defense to be sound based off my defensive line, like Clemson did a couple years ago, because they secondary was trash, but they had a great defensive line, first round guys, and they schemed their defense where they defense line exploited every matchup. If you can't do that, then you got to go.
Play at Clemson.
You said it what?
Well, that's what you should have been doing. That's what you should have been doing, because that was to me, that game was mano a mano. Wasn't nothing fancy. That was North Carolina imposed their will for 4 straight quarters.
Listen,
they imposed their will.
I gotta agree with MB on the and even you who pointed out that he talked about run fits, and they were atrocious. They also ran through them though, so I'm agree with you with the mano and mano in that lane. Like even when they got there to make the tackle, they couldn't bring them down. So they had a lot of issues, but defense was the number one issue. MB kept bringing
one-on-one tackling that was pure trash.
He kept saying defense.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you're right, Caleb, but I brought up when I was talking about physical. Yeah. I mean, we got to tackle. We got to lay hands on these dudes, right? Yeah. So I should have just framed it, hey, we just need to stop the run. But I was thinking, golly, we got that. But it's the same plays. It's the counter that Clemson run, and it's the stretch play. And those 2 plays, man, I mean, Joker's running free like the part. They look like O.J. Simpson running through the airport, baby. I mean, golly. I was like, come on. And then, like, I agree with Pat. Where's the adjustment, man? I mean, put A in the box. Golly, just, hey, play cover 3, do something, get in the gaps, man.
Right.
But that's the thing. But it was no surprise because I talked to Manny before the game, and it was no surprise what they were going to do. It's just poor execution. Got to get it done, you know. So that's just right there, just bad ball, man. And no adjustment was made. We still was trying to run cover 4, too high stuff, man. It was just bad ball, man. I mean, that was embarrassing, man. All the equity that was so-called build, man, was just bankrupt in one game, you know. So I don't now. As far as getting fired and whatnot, I'm not on that echo call, right? And besides, I mean, but it's just bad, man. It's just bad.
Well, I want to get back to your comment when you said, midterm F, final F. That's an F for the year. So you last year you come out, you're 6-7. This year you're 8-2. I think you gotta go back to the hire and say, I looked at it and y'all know me, I'm always thinking, and I said, it's funny when the turnover chain means too much. I think because I feel like that's how he got the job. He brought that excitement back to Miami football. Defense was the flavor of the day, which was Miami football. He gets it. And then guess what you struggling at? And as a head football coach, when what you do struggles, that's when you're in trouble, Pac Jam.
Right. And
let me throw this at you.
Go ahead.
When Manny Diaz was on the staff at Texas, okay, with the very guy he just coached against Saturday, right? How did Manny Diaz get fired from Texas? He gave up 564 yards rushing against Tatum Hill, who's at New Orleans right now.
Right.
That's how he lost his job. People are creature of habits. You still don't know how to stop the run. It's time to go.
Wow.
Because that's your Achilles heel.
Wow.
You don't know how to scheme against the run. You are who we thought you were. Now, I understand MB saying he don't want to D-Dan. I'm going to leave that for MB and Manny to discuss that he need to stay on. But I'm just telling you this right here. At some point, you are who you are.
And I'm going to throw back in MB's face 2 losses by a combined of 61 points at a school with hurricane-like expectations is what you preach to me.
That was
expectations. So
as the
Boo Birds have to start going out.
That's what I'm saying. So you brought up a good point, right? You said now if you're the head coach and your specialty is defense or your specialty is offense, right? and then you're failing at that, right? That's when there's smoke, there's fire, right? And so far he earned the opportunity to coach University of Miami. I mean, when he was a defensive coordinator, right? It's not the turnover chain that got him the recognition. Obviously, that helped a lot, but it was the fact that his defense played extremely well.
Right.
His defense was a big part of the success of why Mark Rigg had 10 wins and stuff like that. It was his defense. So when Mark Rigg decided to or resign, then that's when they paid the money to get him, because Manny was already out at Temple. They went and got him back. So, but the thing that I like, right, or not like, but the thing that I like other guys, right?
Yeah.
When if that's your specialty, like I don't care your head coach, like Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer's like, man, that's my specialty. I'm taking over defense, right?
That's right.
Sean Payton, I'm taking over offense, right? And a lot of times, so you can't. That's one thing, you can't get lost in the crowd or get lost in your new responsibility. You can't forget what got you there, you know? And so you look at last year, that was some of the things I was like, man, North Carolina, I was at that game, 4th and 17. They give up a long play, and you're like, dang, what's up? So that's the thing. So those the growing pains of being at it, I guess. But just like Gus Malzahn, right? Why is he getting fired? Alabama, right? They're willing to put the pressure on him. But offense, since other than the first year where he had Marshall at quarterback, the offense been up and down. They haven't been consistent, you know? So that's the thing. So the thing that you do well, if you're not doing that, then what you got to hang your hat on? You know, you just become ordinary, so you can't forget what you do well, you know? So I don't know the dynamics of the defense, like if he's involved with it, let his boys do it. But at some point, hey, he didn't learn how to call defense. He needs to get that thing right, because that was embarrassing because they didn't ever make the jump. So I don't know who's responsible for that, but obviously he's responsible because he's the head coach.
Ultimately, he's responsible.
He's responsible.
Because
I don't know
the thing is,
I don't want to speak about what I don't know. But you're definitely right, Klew. What your specialty is, hey, like I used to tell freshmen when they came to college, I said, man, do what you did that got you here. Hey, do what you don't, or rookies in there. Hey, do what show us why we drafted you. Show us what got. Don't forget what got you here. That's your bread and butter, and we can't forget that, man. And that
young people and parents out there, listen to what MB's saying, because he's giving you the gospel for real. Because a lot of times you get caught up in, well, they want me to do this. They want me to do this. They got me doing this now and that now. Listen, man, they brought you here for a reason. There was something on that tape that you kept doing over and over again, and MB nailed it. Do what got you there.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, again, as something you mentioned, Klew, earlier, and even me and B, y'all talked about how great that running back crew is. But at the end of the day, remember, they didn't do what they did. Yes, what they did Saturday was history. They became the first to do what they did. 2 guys combined over 500 yards. They ain't done that. They didn't do that against Wake Forest. So again, that's an indictment on the defensive coaching staff of the Hurricanes. There's no way around it, because as good as those running backs was, they did not do that game in and game out, have over 500 yards rushing.
They did.
That tells me two things I seen Saturday. The first thing was guys cannot tackle in space, because there was a lot of one-on-one, still foam in the mouth, a lot of one-on-one, hitting it, punched in the chest type situation. The second thing,
that all year.
The second thing was I seen in the second half, I seen quit. I seen guys quit. I seen in the first half. In the second half, in the third quarter, I seen why this game ain't over with. Let's get out of here. And that's another indictment on the coaching staff. I seen coaches running up and down the sideline telling guys, let's go, pump a guy. You don't have to. What am we trying to pump a guy up for in the third quarter? We at home, we playing for a January 6th game, and the coach got to tell me, let's go, come on. That was quit I seen in that team.
Yes.
That's another indictment on the staff.
Yes.
Now, I understand why everybody's saying Manny this, Manny that, but at some point, we got to look in the mirror and realize you are who you are. You really do. And I think there has to be some, maybe not Manny, but you got to go get a defensive coordinator. You got to make a major change moving forward because Saturday, that's not it. That's not it. Playing for a January 6th bowl with a one-loss team with the possibility. Hold up, let's not get lost on this too. With the possibility of squeezing in the top 5 because we see LSU when it punched Florida in the mouth. A lot of things happening within the last 2-3 weeks. So it ain't just by January 6th. You can luck up and get in the thick of things with that win yesterday.
No doubt.
Especially if Clemson sustained them 2 losses, you got 1 that catapults you up. Why are we playing like we ain't in nothing? Miami played like they was 0-8 Saturday. That was a lot about. No, that was like they was on the road. Like they was. It reminded me of Miami
on the road.
I see. Listen.
Hey. All right, man. Y'all got to get on my Hurricanes.
No,
man.
because no.
Let's move on.
I forgot about that part. No, when he said they quit, I was shocked. In the first quarter, it was over, bro. And listen, every player understands it. When them cameras go into them eyes, I was like, I looked at my wife and say, honey, they done quit. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I don't care who you are. At that point, you still had a chance. They was down 21-0, I think it was at that point. Like, you a turnover away. Sam Howell,
Jordan and all that stuff,
Sam Howell gonna give you 1 or 2. He just is. You know what I mean? Like, if you watch any tape, you know he gonna give us an opportunity. And so that shocked me, MB, and I'm gonna leave y'all alone, but that definitely shocked me. Pack Jam.
I'm gonna leave him alone on that.
Okay. Well, moving forward, man. D-Day came early. D-Day came early in college football this week, man. Listen, Gus Malzahn, MB already talked about it. Lovie Smith, Kevin Sumlin, man. They were calling for Kevin Sumlin for a similar performance. He got beat 70-7. I think they were down 2 touchdowns in like the first minute. Like, it was kind of crazy. It was something like less than a minute, 56 seconds. They was down 14-0. And, so that whole situation blew up. You guys, what are your thoughts on those 3 fires?
I mean, all of it. You look at Gus Malzahn, we already talked about that. I mean, just didn't produce. I mean, started off on fire, that first year with Marshall at quarterback, went to BCS with championship and stuff like that, I think. But just didn't get it done. I mean, and then you got your neighboring school, Alabama, that's winning championships. Like we talked in previous shows about that, man. That's a lot of pressure to sell, especially I think right now he's 6-4, right? And those are the programs where your expectation, right, or standard is that you want to win championships. That's what you're paying for, and that's what you want. So the lease is short, but he had 8 years to do it, right, and didn't get it done. Now, what surprised me, though, is when you talking about 21 American dollars, not pesos, but 21 million American dollars in COVID-19 economy, and you made that move. Good Lord, I want to see your budget because I mean you gotta pay him his money and don't be late. Right? He needs 50. He get 50% of it in 30 days. They gotta pay him. And I heard they say they're gonna pay him all. So I'm like, don't be late with that check, right? Direct deposit. But God, then you got to turn around and hire another staff.
Whole staff with another heavy pay.
I mean, the money they have to make that move, that's what surprised me about it, because he's 6-4. But I understand why. He just, based on the expectation, he didn't make it. And like I say, Alabama make it tough. Now, far as Lovie Smith, I think he had 6 years there. I understand that. He got an opportunity. Kevin Sumlin, all right, 3 years there. And his best year was his first year. I think he was 5-7, and then from there went down. And I love those dudes. And Kevin Sumlin's a great coach. I love what he did at A&M. Love what he did at Houston. But I mean, golly, I can see why they're making that move, because they just want a competitive. And then especially where same thing, neighboring school where you got Arizona State with Herm Edwards, right? Where everybody trying to go for him. And you got to recruit hard to get to the desert. So he kind of put pressure on him too, with him doing what he's doing in our environment, the staff he put together and the program he's putting together. So they definitely like, man, we may take back seat to USC, but we ain't taking back seat to Arizona State. So let's get this thing going. So I could understand the moves, right? But man, that Auburn move is the one that surprised me the most, just because of the dollar figures that's involved when they made that move so soon.
As for myself, I agree with all the moves. I love all three of them. And I'm gonna tell you why. I start with Alabama. I start with Auburn. I love the Auburn move because Auburn is telling you this: hey man, we're in this thing to win this thing. We're not here for nothing else. We're in it to win it. So taking this job, you know what the pressure is. You know what the demands are. You know what we want. At the same time, they're letting you know that we got the finances to back this thing up. You got no excuses. We're gonna provide all the money you need to get us to the W's. To get us the recruits we need, everything. You got the budget. Let's go. So going into that job, you know what the expectations is. The problem that happened with Gus Malzahn and that job is, if you remember, the last 3 or 4 years, Gus Malzahn got cute with the OC situation. Gus Malzahn, because Gus Malzahn was going to be fired 2 years ago, if you remember. Yeah, and he said, "Well, I'm not going to call the plays no more. I'm gonna get another OC." And he did that. But the problem was Gus Malzahn never changed the defense. He stayed with his homeboy. At the end of the day, that's a great fire. I think moving forward, that from what I hear, they got their eyes on Sark. Is the rumor. The rumor is they want Sark. Who? Steve Sarkisian with Alabama. That's what they got their eyes on. That's the rumor right now. They're trying to get him.
That's Hugh Freeze's job wide open, baby.
Yeah, I heard. Hey, hold on. Circle back, Pac Jam. You said something. So you're saying that he got fired because his homeboy Kevin's still on defense?
No, what I said that there was no immediate changes that was made. Kevin Steele, this is the thing. Kevin Steele is just like the guy that was over there with Bobby Bowden for years. Okay, at some point the game does pass you by. We got to understand that.
You talking about Chugamato?
No. He talking about Kevin was at Florida State for a minute. But
what I'm saying is the game.
I'm trying to understand his point because he was saying that he.
What I'm saying is Kevin Steele. What I'm saying is right. Kevin Steele.
Double A on the Brandon ship, MB. Her should be everybody. He does ship, baby. Double A out of
there. Kevin, one of the things that you have been seeing in the latest with this football, the RPO has changed the game. The RPO has changed the game of football. And if these defensive coordinators aren't taking trips, aren't studying these RPOs, aren't really diving into this thing, and you still stuck on the same defense you was running against a drop back quarterback, you're going to get passed in the way. You're going to pass by in the wayside.
But Pac Jam, hold on a second. Hold on. Okay. Kevin Steele now.
Okay, tell me.
Hold on now. Kevin Steele, that's why I was looking up because what? First of all, what's his name when Gus was there, right? What's the guy?
They had Chiswick. Chiswick was there before him.
No, Chiswick was there.
Right, Chiswick was there.
Chiswick was the head coach.
Right.
So Gus came in, right? And then I forgot who
Gus was already on the staff with Chiswick.
You say what?
Gus was on the staff with Chiswick.
Right. But I'm saying when you talk about homeboy on defense, it was throwing me off because the coach that initially was there when he got fired from Florida, he was there for a year. What's my man name who just got fired in South Carolina?
You talking about
yeah, because I went for a job interview there.
Okay.
He was there.
What?
See, I remember when
what's his name? You just got fired at South Carolina.
Yeah, you talking about
Muschamp.
Will Muschamp.
Muschamp was there, right?
Right.
And then Kevin Steele, now you got to understand now, Kevin Steele, when you talking about out-the-date defense, they run the same defense that Alabama run. It's the same system.
No,
yes.
it's not.
Hey, Pac Jam, listen. Hey, Pac Jam, Kevin Steele, that was my linebacker coach. It's the same non-caper system that they run. Then they don't have this. It may not look the same because they ain't got the blink. But it's the same system. That's why every week I'm like, oh, they facing this like practice when Georgia and both teams play. Georgia, Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, all the same system. Kevin Steele, he's under that same Nick Saban system. It's the same system.
Well,
I'm not going to agree with that.
I know it don't look the same, Pat, just because they ain't got the players.
It's different Joes.
But last year, right? You had your defensive lineman there. You had what's my man? God, dog, what's his name? Went to Carolina first round. Derek, first round pick. I mean,
listen, I'm gonna agree to disagree right there. But MB, I'm gonna agree to disagree. I'm gonna agree to disagree right there. I'm gonna agree to disagree right there. But at the end of the day, still ain't been getting the job done either. Neither one of them is going to get the job done. People been scoring people been putting up big points on them too every week.
So MB, we got a question from Steven, man. Steven say, what does it really take to be a good linebacker? And I'm gonna tell you the first thing that MB will probably say. I'm gonna give him the second one though, so I'm gonna steal this one. Great eyes. Go ahead.
I was just about to say that myself. Vision.
Hey, you right about it. You gotta have some Luke Skywalker, right? Instincts. You gotta be able to get to the ball, man. You gotta have some feel to get to the ball. Instincts, man. That right there is the number one thing. Instincts, and then also, so instincts is big, and then the scheme, obviously speed matters, especially in a 4-3 scheme, but instincts, mental, physical toughness, right? All right, I used to call it hurricane DNA because guys put a lot of emphasis on size, but it wasn't always a size, right? Man. Is if you had a link, if you're defensive in something, you gotta be elite in something. And so, like the instincts, man, is priority, man, because a guy you may put him on a clock and he run like Ray Lewis. At best he probably ran 4.6, high 4.5, right? But because his instincts were so elite, it made him run like a 4.3 on the field. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And he had the best defense. And he had the best defensive tackle in football.
Fast. And so you gotta have instincts. You gotta have vision. That's the starting point, man. And you gotta have. And then, like I said, if you're elite at something, a defense that saying got to be elite. So football IQ, right? That helps.
You gotta give 2 or 3 points and leave it alone. But I will piggyback off of something that LB said. He said physicality, man. That is an absolute must at linebacker. And I hate to harp on this, but I don't care what game you watching. When you getting linebackers run through by running backs, you will see a defense get demoralized. And I don't care what level you're talking about and who's playing who, but you're going to see that defense get trashed if they linebackers get run through. Don't tell them how great the secondary is. Don't tell them how great the D-line is, that front. Man, if linebackers are getting run through by running backs, y'all in trouble, bro. And that's something from a linebacker perspective, we can't even fathom. Like, ain't nobody about to just run through me. I don't care what happened. I don't care how many times y'all throw it over our head. Hey, that's just what it is. If the running back run a wheel route and catch it and go 60, good job for him. But he is not going to run through me, period.
And if you are soft, you better make a whole bunch of big plays, right? You have a lot of defense, a lot of soft plays. Soft linebacker. You can get away with one, because I seen a few of them, right, that got away, but they made some big plays. They weren't physical at all, man. They were running out, they ain't want no part of it, right? They finesse. But the thing about it, they made plays that had a knack for making. That's the only thing that can save you. All right, but you can't have a team. You only have about one of those dudes on every other team, right? Back then, what you were saying, man? You were saying something, bro.
No. I was still on. I wasn't saying nothing about that. I had said vision. I was just saying vision, just talking about the vision thing.
Look, UF, the University of Florida loses to an undermanned LSU. When I say undermanned, they started off. DBU University started that thing off, right? Down 3 DBs. like they spotted them, 3 DBs gone. And then they say, okay, let's play. And then lost another DB early on in the first quarter. And they said, well, shoot, we got a bunch of freshmen out here. You go get it. And you, listen, I love what they did. Now, let's not fool ourselves, y'all. Kyle Trask still threw for almost 500 yards, 474 to be exact. So So I don't know if they can be DBU. I'm still go with Florida when you talk about DBU because they gave up way too much to be talking about DBU. However, the way those guys played out there, Pac-Jam was unbelievable.
Well, again, I keep saying it, man. There's a lot of capping going on, man. The game is won on the field. The game is won on the field. And a lot of these kids go to read, like Nick said, I have to quote my coach on this. He said, one of the things I do is I tell the kids every week, don't eat the rat poison. Don't eat the rat poison. And every week, they've been pumping the Gators up higher and higher and higher. And what you saw was a team that ate the rat poison. They went out there as if they had already won the game, going through the motions. LSU came out like they came out like gangbusters. They played for broke. It was like a dude that went to a casino and he had but $20 to his name. And he said, you know what? I'm calling everything with this $20. I'm going to let it do what it do. You hear me? And that's what they did. He called everything, and he went to hit. He went to catching 7. He went to catching 11. And before you knew it, he was up with 1.5 million. He said, okay, now I'm playing with the house's money. In the fourth quarter, LSU said, we playing with the house's money now because we ain't even supposed to be in this game. And now that we here, let's let it do. Let it do what it do. And that's what happened. All that capping. They exposed, and again, Kyle Trask got exposed. All them little jump balls, them little Michael Jordan balls, he been throwing the jump balls. Guess what LSU said? Let me get that. Because the defense coordinator told him, hey, if you could just tip it, because there was a lot of tipping back there in that secondary. It wasn't straight up in INTs. It was a lot of tipping. Right. So he told the guys, jump as high as you can and tip it in the front of you. And that's what they were doing. Like I said, man, a lot got exposed with the Gators. We knew going into that game, the Gators all year, the Gators ain't got no defense. We know that. But the Gators been getting by on this high-flying offense with the Michael Jordan passes. And LSU took away the jump balls. They made him throw people open. And again, even though he got 500 yards, he still was not consistently able to move the chain to get them in the painted area when it was time to get them in the paint. And the guy that threw the shoe, the guy that threw the shoe, that made the tackle and took the shoe and said and throw the
Marco
shoe.
Wilson.
What was he thinking? What was his head at?
What Pac-Jam? I guess you done renamed Gainesville Lob City. LB, this was your front runner for the Heisman.
Cal Trask, number
what do you have to say about
it's
that?
Only 2 finalists and both in Tuscaloosa. Deal with it.
Man, I'm hurt.
Both finalists, both Heisman finalists in Tuscaloosa.
Hey,
deal with it.
When you look at the numbers and all that stuff, but hey, one number in count. I mean, again, count this game. LSU came ready to play, and what you like about it, this was definitely don't take the cheese game. Don't fall for the trap, and they fell for the trap because the next game is the SEC championship, right? And so they took the bait, man. And so, especially coming in Baton Rouge, hey, I don't care fans, no fans, or whatever the environment is, man, they ready to play. And one thing you got to take your hat off to, all right, Bo Pelini, that LSU defense, man, has been ferocious at times, man. They've been bad all season long, man, but he had those guys ready to play. Now, you look at 609 yards total offense that Florida had, but what you saw, man, when they got in the paint, man, LSU rised up, right? They had a goal line stand in the beginning. They had an interception, right? They was getting it done. They had another pick in the red zone. I think they had a pick 6. I mean, they was getting it done, man. They was limiting Florida at the key times, making them settle for field goals. And I think that's the biggest difference in the game. They made those plays, man, and man, they put the team in LSU definitely in a position to win game. And then, like I talked about it earlier with the freshman at quarterback, true freshman starting at quarterback, managed the game well, man. And they made plays and they even made plays, and they got it done. And then 57-yard field goal to seal the game after my boy, man. I feel for Marco Wilson, man, because his dad played with me at UM. So, man, I feel for him. I know he hurt because he's a good kid, got caught up in the moment, but made a terrible decision, man, throwing that shoe, man.
Wow. So They beat Florida with a bunch of youngins, man. And my question to you guys, man, was this is what I saw from LSU. LSU had fun all night. Is that the true key, MB and Pac Jam, to win it? When you can really go out there and have fun and just play the game, and your coaches are supportive, even though you're getting corrected, even though you still got to play a particular defense and run specific plays and have your assignments. But I really honed in on the excitement that bench had.
I'm gonna say this. To me, what I took from that LSU game was this: those freshmen hadn't played all year. It was a national televised game, and all of a sudden, we got 11, 12 freshmen numbers was called. And it was like, mama finna see me on TV tonight. I'm finna go at the crib, the hood. And that's how they approached it. Because you seen the excitement in those kids from the time they stepped on the field. Like, man, I'm here. I'm here. They pouring, they slapping their chest. They pouring, talking noise to the Gator players. Every play, the referee got to break them up. They selling them out. Those 17, 18-year-olds was super excited to be out on the field on the national televised game in the swamp. And they say, man, this is my time. My number been called. And
with
that's
that
what I
Miami smoke blowing too. They was in the swamp with that Miami smoke.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin, those kids was talking to anybody that would listen. Sometimes they got an interception and ran to the Gator fans when they're talking to them. They were just glad they took, and to me, it was a perfect storm. Right. But that's what I'm saying.
Key to winning, man. Like those guys just had a great time. They were out there just playing like they was in the backyard.
And I do believe, yes, it plays a part in winning for you to have fun on all levels. If the more fun, when you have fun doing what you do better at what you're doing. I do agree to that assessment. But what I'm saying is what we saw from them was just special because if I'm starting every week, I'm used to it now. But that was a little bit added, dosage of I wasn't even expected to play, man. I've been over here just, clean on the sideline all year. And all of a sudden I get called and we on ESPN, let it do what it do. I'm excited. Let's ride. You know what I mean? That's what that was, But again, it's something the culture, whatever culture the coaching staff has for that team. And one thing I can say about Ed Orgeron, he's been the type of coach to allow his players to have their identity, to show their identity. He's never been one of those. He's not a Nick Saban type. He's not we going to do it like a platoon. He's always been like, I want you to be you, the individual.
MB?
Miami, coached at Miami and USC, man. So he get it double. He get it honest, just the way he is. But yeah, I mean, that's part of the formula, Klew. One thing we talked about earlier about coaching, obviously when they do well, you blame the coaches, right? But when they do great, you blame the coaches too. And so when you playing a lot of freshmen they're playing, keep the game plan simple, man. Hey, let those guys go play ball, right? And I always tell my guys, man, hey, let's eat too and have fun. You focus on what you control, and eat is give me great effort, hey, be aggressive, be mentally, physically tough, and have fun. And you saw that. You saw great effort. You saw the guys playing aggressive. You saw the guys, man, to make mistakes. So what? Hey, you got a coupon. Just go out there and have fun, man. And the moment wasn't too big for them because what? It's like, what we got to lose? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go out there and play. You know what? I remember you said a story, Klew, about when you was at training camp with the Giants. And you was like, man, I'm going to just play ball. Forget, right?
Right.
Like you turn dudes, when you worried about making a mistake and all that stuff, right? That's when you make a mistake and you're not playing to your ability. One way to defeat a great athlete is to make them overthink, right? And that's you don't want that. And so that's what I like, man, guys. That's part of having fun. When you're having fun, you relax, you're ready to go, and you start making plays, and it just start rolling, baby. So yeah, it's definitely part of the ingredient. But hats off to the coaches, man, because they got those guys prepared, ready to go. So then that way, when you get to game day, man, hey, man, just show up and show out, baby.
But you see something in there. I'm going to show you something. We just spoke on this earlier. Miami was 8-1 with so much to play for. LSU under 500 with nothing to play for. Look at the difference of how the teams attack the field. The team with the losing record, they hit the field like gangbusters. The team with so much to play for went hit the field nonchalant, going through the motion, quitting on the coaches. I mean, it's just, you see the difference? See the cultural difference? That's why I say something needs to happen in Miami. And I know you don't want that. I understand him, B. I know you're tired. But at the end of the day, something needs to happen.
I won't even click on none of the hurricane questions out there. Hey, Pac Jam, they want to know. They want to know you played in the league and what position you played.
No, I didn't play. No, I didn't play in the league. No, I didn't play in the league. I should have.
But you don't have to play in the league to know football, right? So
but I should have, though.
I don't think. Hey, it'll be that wasn't what he was talking about. When Pac Jam was talking about something, he was making a point. The way he said it, it sounded like he might have played. So I know exactly what Steven talking about.
I should have played in the league. Hey, Steven, if I wouldn't have let Kevin eat so much of my vegetables, I would have made it. And mashed potatoes. I like just the chicken. I used to give Kevin the mashed potatoes, and I eat the chicken.
Hey, look, but let's go back to Kyle Trask, and something you said, MB, that stood out to me was overthinking things. And I think Justin Fields got put out of the Heisman race with a similar performance when he struggled against Indiana when he threw, or was it Indiana? He threw three picks
against Indiana.
It was that 3-pick game. And you could physically see him out there trying to make every throw a perfect throw. It'll be Kyle Trask was your front runner. Justin Fields were mine. I felt like they had the same game. If you compare those two games, and so I'm gonna go back to you to go over what do you think it was with Kyle Trask, and moving forward, is he still gonna be a Heisman front runner?
I mean, I don't think Pitts played. What happened to Pitts?
To who?
Pitts.
Oh yeah, his receiver.
Yeah, he ain't played.
The tight end. He's been having. They've been real quiet, but he's been having an injury.
2 weeks though.
He's been having an injury. They've been quiet about. I don't know what's going on.
No, he had a concussion. He got slept.
But he didn't have a catch. That's what I'm saying. What happened to him? So I'm like,
he didn't play. Yeah.
No.
No. That's what I'm saying. He had no stat. He didn't play, did he?
He didn't play. He didn't play.
But
he still had the other 2 6'4" receivers though. They was there.
Yeah, but that's
his speedster Tony was there.
So
because you threw for 500 yards. So what? I mean, let us know what happened. MB, what happened?
As far as his performance?
Yeah, what happened? Because he threw for 500 yards.
Yeah, I mean, he threw for 500 yards. I'm just saying though, when you talk about that next level Pitts, you got one of the top guys out who's a monster, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm saying that has something to do with it, right?
No, he threw for 500 yards.
Not if you the Heisman.
You threw for 500 yards. You can't tell me about a guy that wasn't there and you threw for 500 yards. That makes no sense on no level. My main target wasn't there, but I threw for 500 yards.
I thought he made mistakes when it counted.
Exactly. That's what happened. That's what happened.
I thought he in the red area, that painted area you were speaking of earlier. That's when he blew it. That's when he blew it.
No, that's what I'm saying. That was the issue that happened. But I'm just saying though, I mean, when we talked about his numbers, I was saying in reference, you're like, man, because Pitts was a big part of it. I mean, you're right, he threw 500 yards, but Pitts took it to the whole nother level, right? But
correct.
As far as performance in this game right here, I just told you what happened. That red zone defense, man, LSU stepped up, and then they made plays when they had to make the play. That freshman Eli, he made a play in the middle of the field with that pick six, right? So costly mistakes, right, at the wrong time, man, hindered him. That's the thing that happened. So costly mistakes and stuff like that happened in the red zone. I told you, LSU, I said it before, in the red zone, they stepped up. They tried for a goal line. They tried to first drive, try to score. LSU stepped up, stopped the goal line, stand on fourth down. They came back. Kyle Trask now, he jumped over the top 2 times and stuff like that. So, but the costly mistakes in a game like that, that's what's end up costing the game, you know?
So well, MB, I'm gonna ask you this here. So MB, who are the 2 finalists for the Heisman now then?
Well, the finalists, right? Because Mac Jones, right, even though they won, he didn't play a great game as well. So we talked about the leaders heading into it last show.
His game was nowhere near. His game wasn't bad though. It was pedestrian, but it was not. He didn't throw no picks.
I'm just saying, I don't even think
he didn't throw no picks either. He didn't throw no picks either.
Pat Jam, but what you saying, right? The front runners heading to the game, right? Was what Kyle Trask, was Matt Jones and Smith, the receiver.
Really,
right?
you can start with Kyle Trask and Mac Jones because they actually had Trevor Lawrence before Smith. So, yeah, just start with those two.
So I'm saying, but when we talked about it last show, we focused on those three guys.
Correct.
That was our three finalists, right? And then y'all asked me, y'all say, well, who do you have? Who's your top two? And
correct.
I said, I'm gonna go.
And you said both quarterbacks.
And that's what I said. Hold on. I said, I'm gonna go with the quarterback, right? I said, because what? I say Kyle Trask's numbers, right? Right. Y'all brought up about I said I read somewhere where they at the same point it was better than Joe Burrows, right?
Correct.
And I say that's hard to ignore, right?
Correct.
And I like Matt Jones the whole season. I was talking about Matt Jones, right, the whole season throughout the shows because I said I used the term. I said it's got to be a better term, but I like the way he managed the game. Remember that talk?
Correct.
So I said those two would be the finalists. Now, in this race right here, it's a tight race, and you can't afford to have a bad game, right? And even though he threw for 500 yards, he's got a bad loss, right?
Right.
So, and then he threw some picks, some costly picks.
Right.
Yes. So when you asked me what happened, I was like, well, first of all, he ain't had that dude Pitts because that dude's a game changer, right? But then also in the red zone, like I mentioned before, man, that cost him. And the picks and the turnovers that he had during those times.
Correct.
Because it's like he get all the credit when they win. When they lose, he's gonna get the blame. So that's even though you threw for 500 yards, it's still.
Who are your top two?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
So who are your top two right now?
Who my top two?
That's all I want to know. Right now.
I think right now they don't open up the door for Smith.
I think it's been opened and shut.
I don't think it's shut just yet.
Listen, not only is Smith.
Hold on a second, because you can have one bad game. I don't think it's shut, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I think what's going to happen is going to come down to that game. Who performed the best in that game, right? Can try to get something done. But they opened the door for Smith.
What did Nick Saban do Saturday?
You say what?
What did he do? What did he do Saturday he hadn't done early in the season? What did he
talking
do?
About punt return? Who, Smith? Who you talking about?
Right. Yeah.
He put Smith in punt return.
Yeah, I said punt return, right?
To get some votes.
I said a punt return. Yeah. So what are you saying, Pat Jam?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Right. He did that to get him some votes. And he returned one. And then he caught a touchdown because Nick's trying to get him the trophy.
Now I don't know if it's conspiracy
because y'all ain't getting no props.
But he definitely put him in a position at punt return for a touchdown. So Pat Jam, what are you saying though?
Yeah.
My point is
I'm saying the top two should be right now. The two finalists should be Mac Jones and Smith. It should be because Mac Jones did nothing to lose. He did nothing to gain. He stayed even keel. Trask did more to knock himself down. To me, Smith was already up there. So to me, it's Smith and Mac Jones going into the SEC championship game to win the Heisman Trophy. That's right.
Hey, Pat Jam, and I agree with that. But let me here's the point I made though, right? I said right now, that game right now, whoever separate himself in that game, like Trask can come back. And if he leads an upset victory over Alabama, if that's a big if, right? He can put right back in that position. That's what I'm saying. If the door is not closed, it's not shut, right? It may be shut on your eyes because you're like, well, that ain't gonna happen.
Listen,
but I'm saying
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Let me finish this point. If he have a great performance and he was somehow, some way lead Florida upset victory over Alabama, he play lights out, man, they'll forget this loss as quick as that. They'll be justifying, oh, well, he threw for 500 yards over it. He just made a poor mistake here and there, but he threw it against LSU. And if that's a bad game, that's not. I mean, that's a great game for other people. You know what I'm saying? So it's the door to me is not shut if he turns around and have a great, outstanding performance against Alabama, right? To me, that's what it's going to come down to, that game right? In that game, that big spotlight, right? Last time to convince the voters who have the biggest game can, man, steal that thing. Those three guys right there.
Let me tell you something. If you think, because I already see where you're going with this here. Good luck with that Florida Gator having a win in Atlanta this weekend.
Bro,
because
it's like
Alabama has shown you one thing. Alabama's discipline. No, listen. Alabama is discipline, number one. We ain't gonna give you the game. Number two, that team gonna come in there dialed in. That offensive line is gonna wipe that Florida Gator defensive line off the map. Remember, I told you that. That offensive line from Alabama that been together 3 years, they finna wipe them off the map. Watch what I tell you. Najee Harris may have, because Smith may not have touchdowns. Najee Harris may have 5 touchdowns that game. Smith may have 1, if that, because the running game is going to run them off the field. Watch what I tell you.
Hey, Pat Jam, all I did was like play the if game, right? And I said,
but see,
for that
you're
to
sounding
happen,
too confident with that if.
Hey, no, I made it clear. I said, man, and it's a huge big if, right? But the door's not closed, because if he have a big game against Alabama and somehow, some way lead them to victory, and he show up and show out, the door's, all I'm saying, the door's not closed. It's a long shot, but the door's not closed, right? That's all.
I'm gonna ask you this. You and Kevin know this here. The game is won in the trenches, is it not?
Yeah. Definitely.
Do you educate it? Just an educated look on both teams. You Kevin watched them all season. Do you think the Florida? No. Do you think the Florida defensive line can stand up to that?
We're talking about the Heisman. That's all we're talking about. We're talking about the Heisman. And I just threw out a big if.
Hey, we'll talk about the game on Friday.
Okay.
Exactly. We're not talking about the game. We're just talking about a big if. Because you said
okay.
And I was like, this is why we play the game, right? I mean, it's just like Johnny Manziel. He won the Heisman versus Alabama, right? He won the Heisman versus Performance Alabama. I'm not saying he jumped his Alabama. That's why we played the game.
Pat Jam will tell you, I picked them to beat Alabama.
You did?
Yeah. You know I go against the grain, baby. And I think that's a great place to end. We gonna talk to y'all on Friday about the Florida Gators and the Alabama Crimson Tide. And Pat Jam will probably be at a basketball game, so he won't even be able to chime in, baby. So sorry. So sorry. It'll probably be game time. A lot of basketball get played around here. It'll be high school basketball, so he has to be dialed in. Well, we appreciate y'all coming to stopping through, hollering at us, man. Keep in contact with us. Definitely like, share, hit the notification button. Do all that you supposed to do so you can get us every Monday and Friday. It'll be.
No doubt. Hey, man, make sure you come check us out, man. We got the illest co-host, man, with the high top fan. Get it done, baby.
Better know it, man. I enjoyed you guys once again.
LB, we might have to tell some bus stories. I got him. You see the last question? We might have to tell some bus stories. Steve bus story. Yeah. So we appreciate y'all again, man. Until next time, from sideline to baseline, we are gone, y'all.
Peace.